lives one day at a time. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. They're here to get your day going fine. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. And here's your host, Miss Kim Robinson.
Took me a while to get to this place. I'm so glad I'm in this space, accepting all my flaws, embracing authenticity, 'cause there's nobody quite like me. Oh, I like being me. So I'm created to be original, not to copy. I'm gonna tap on these, to love again. Gonna celebrate this life, walking who am I supposed to be? Refuse to give up on me. To love again. Gonna celebrate this life, walk in liberty. Every trial that came my way, I was searching for a brighter day. That day's finally here. That day's finally here. Through life's struggles, ups and downs, I'm so glad that I have found love that's unconditional. Yeah, all I went through prepared me. All God wanted me to be. I'm gonna tap on these, to love again, love me again, celebrate this life, walking who am I supposed to be? Refuse to give up on me. Love again, to love me alone, celebrate this life, walk in liberty. Oh, it's incredible. This joy is unspeakable. Living life with no regrets. Each blessing was a blessing. I'm gonna tap on these, love again, celebrate this life, walking who am I supposed to be? Refuse to give up on me. Love again, celebrate this life, walk in liberty. I'm gonna clap, 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 learning to love all over again. Celebrate this life. I'm gonna, yeah, clap, 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 clap for me. Celebrate this life for me. Learning to love me over and over again, yeah. Clap, clap, clap. I'm gonna celebrate me. Celebrate this life. I dream to big, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Clap, clap, clap. Gonna celebrate this life. Walk in liberty. Gonna give my life.
I didn't realize the music stopped. Good evening, everyone. This is Let's Talk About It with Rhonda on Elation Radio. How is everyone doing today? I am glad that you all are here, and I am glad that you have taken out your time to listen to my podcast. Today is Monday. It has been a marvelous Monday. I hope that everyone can hear me okay. It sounds like we may have some little static in the background, but hopefully everyone can hear me okay. I am elated tonight I have a special guest, so I do not want to hold up much time talking and rambling. I would like to introduce my guest. My guest for tonight is Mary Jane King. Mary Jane King is a wife, a mother, pastor, inspirational speaker, and trainer. She helps birth, empower, transform, train, and develop homeless and everyday women into modern-day leaders by equipping them with basic family and life skills, transforming their mindset to leadership thinking, helping them to birth out their purpose and tap into their area of giving, training them to break free from within themselves, allowing them to feel and be more effective while feeling more significant. She empowers women to push past their past and discover their purpose and tap into their area of gifting through her inspirational speaking while developing a character of leadership and generational change. Welcome, my guest, Mary King.
Hello. I'm good. Can you guys hear me fine?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. I just didn't know if it was, if I was the interference or not. So I was just making sure.
Fine. So I am elated to have you on tonight, Mary, and I'm hoping that people are taking the time to call in and listen to the podcast tonight. So one of the things that I want to ask you first is, how is it that you train others by finding out who they are?
Okay. The first thing I do as far as with women, I generally work with women. So what I do as far as helping them to find out who they are is, I feel if a person knows what their purpose is, then they can identify with who they are. So that's one of the things that I do is I help women find out exactly what their purpose is and what it is that God created them for, and just to kind of give them just helping them to find out, like I said, what their God-given purpose is. And when I do that, in return, they end up knowing who they are, because your purpose is basically your identity.
Okay. That's definitely a good start. A lot of people, it takes them a while to understand and figure out what their purpose is, or even to realize that they have a purpose. So that's important.
Yes, it definitely is. For sure. It's definitely important to know exactly this. And you guys got to work with me just a little bit, because anytime I speak, at first I'm a little nervous, and then once the Holy Spirit kick in, y'all be like, okay. So
you're doing fine. You're fine. So tell us about your homeless ministry.
Well, with the homeless ministry, one thing is I've always just had a passion for homeless people just in general, but more so my area is towards, like, again, women. So one thing what I do with the homeless ministry, and what I'm starting with doing, is making sure I was once doing donations where people were giving clothing, and then in exchange I would, get the clothing, go pick them up, wash the clothing, and then, I'll put up a post for people who are in need, or I would take it to local shelters. But the only thing about that with the local shelters is a lot of them don't take clothing, just due to the fact that they only have limited amount of space. So
okay.
With that being said, that was one of the things that I was finding out. So I put up something, I think on Christmas, what we did, and we had a lot of clothing. And I just pretty much basically put it up and was saying for people in need. And I had so many people we did that contact us about just being in with the homeless women. I don't do as much with the clothing, because it can be a whole lot of trying to get the different sizes and what people need. But I also definitely will be starting up working more with them, teaching them life skills and just about their area of gifting, and, of course, their purpose. Because if they know what they're gifting in, and everybody has a gift. Everybody has some type of talent, some type of gift that God has given them. And I feel if they get that to feel more just significant, and get to feel more important in valued and by finding out what their gifts are, then they can begin to monetize their gifts. And then if you're teaching them life skills, like how to interview, how to dress for an interview, how to, go into the interview, how to pay rent, how to turn on their power, how to read their lease. So these are the things that Homeless with Purpose is going to be doing. It's just teaching life skills, basic everyday, like I said, life skills and their purpose and area of gifting.
Okay. Now I know a little bit of your story has to do with being a single mom at one point in your life. You want to talk about that?
Sure, let's talk about it. So my single time, during the time when I was single, I have a lot of people more so asking me the question of, man, how did you do it? Having 3 children, not being married at the time, how did you do it? How did you, keep going and take care of yourself and my mom as well? And I said determination. I was determined. Anytime that you are determined to do something, you're not going to stop until you reach it. You're not going to stop until you get there. And when you realize and look over your life, and I had so many people who doubted me. So one thing I would say to people is we get so discouraged by people not supporting, people not cheering us on, people not being there for us. But if you think about it and look at it, that's the fuel to the fire. It was for me, because I had so many doubters, and I'm the type of person, okay, so you wanna doubt me. So I couldn't let them be right. Most women, we don't like to be, wrong. So
Wrong.
I was determined. So I was determined to let them know, regardless of having my first child, I think, 18. So regardless of that, no matter what, if you are determined, you can do it. Doubt you, be your motivators to keep pushing forward and just be determined.
That's right. So what would you say to a single woman on how to enjoy her life as being a single woman?
I would say to a woman who is single, and if she's, waiting to be married or looking for, believing God to send her spouse, I would say to enjoy the process. Don't waste your wait. That's my word. When God gave me that, and I was like, wow, what do you mean? And he said, don't waste your wait. So basically, while you're waiting, don't waste it. Because it could be a year, it could be 2 years, it could be 3, it could be 5. So what are you going to do while you wait? You can be preparing. It's just like people who prepare their meals before the week starts. They do it over the weekend, and they meal prep because they know if you get hungry enough, you're going to eat something that's unhealthy for you. So the same thing of being single, while you're single, if you don't prepare, if you don't prep and prepare for what God is sending to you, or if you're not just preparing or being happy during your single time, you'll make an unhealthy decision. You'll rush into something, or you'll get into something. I said you'll make a unhealthy decision, just like somebody who preps a meal. And if they don't prep, they'll end up just saying, oh, man, I'm so hungry, and they didn't prep their food, so they'll say, I'm going to go get this burger, I'm going to go over here and get this, because they'll end up making an unhealthy decision because they were not prepared. They didn't prep for what was to come. So while you're single, prepare, so you won't make a decision that you'll end up regretting, or when God does send you that person for you, when he sends you your husband, you'll be ready, because nobody wants to have a person. So be preparing while you're single and enjoy yourself. Don't rush the process. Don't waste your wait. Enjoy the time while you're waiting and love on you.
Girl, I like that. I'm writing stuff down, girl. I'm writing it down. You hear me? So now that you are, but now that you are married, you're in ministry, you have a business. Woo! So tell us about the new life.
Well, about the new life, I look now and I sit back and say, I wish I wouldn't have wasted my wait. And what I mean is because now in marriage, I'm having to correct some things in me that I should have corrected before. having to now two becoming one. So I'm having to you got to begin to balance that being together. But see, if you are preparing while you're single during that time of preparing to say, okay, if you're expecting something to come, then already be preparing. So I didn't have the mind frame that I have now. So now that I'm in my marriage now, it's me also learning someone else, because you're always learning. No matter how long you've been married, I mean, you always. And
right.
Being married is a beautiful thing, and I'm going to be honest, ladies, being single is beautiful too. Everybody is not meant to be married. Some people choose not to be married. But if you are single, don't be jealous of women who are married. And this is just God having me stick right here. Don't be jealous of women who are married, because a lot of married women probably sit, and I said this before, jealous of some single women because they either rushed it or because they were like, man, they didn't prepare. So just enjoy your time, because both are beautiful. It's a process. The process is beautiful. It doesn't seem like it sometimes, and you're like, man, but it's always preparing you for something else. So if you're enjoying that when you get married, you can enjoy. Because if you waste your weight and you get married, you'll say, man, I should have did this. I should have made sure I had this good first. I should have worked on me. You don't want to be with one of those shoulda. I shoulda, coulda, woulda things.
Right,
so
right.
They're both very, very beautiful. And now with being married and ministry and children and business, it's all about balance. It's definitely all about, you got to have that balance. You got to have time for yourself too, time for your spouse, time for your children, ministry, business. I've learned that, to have balance.
So I know you said that everyone has a talent and everyone has skills, everyone has a purpose. Do you believe that everyone has a ministry?
I think we all do have a ministry. Because if you are a believer, we all are disciples. We are all, as far as to go out and to win souls, basically, to go out and just be witnesses, to go out and to always represent Christ. Now, I don't think maybe everybody is called to start a ministry, but we all have a ministry. If you kind of look at it, it's all basically a ministry. You're ministering at some point. What we're doing now, we're ministering. It's just to other people at a different point. When you get on Facebook and you post, you're ministering, whether that be ministering bad or ministering good. But everything you do, you're ministering, basically. Going to the store, you're ministering. You're being a witness. So that's my take on that, on ministry, on a ministry level.
So if there was a woman who wanted to start her own ministry, or actual ministry, what advice would you give her?
I would first say making sure that it is what God has called for her to do, making sure that she is, equipped, she's anointed, and that is something that God has told her as far as what she needs to do. Because if you step too far ahead of God, then, you mess yourself up. And if you're too slow, he'll move on. So you got to be right on time, right on sync with God. So I would definitely tell her, if she said, well, I know this is what God told me, this is the ministry he told me to start, and I know it, and I'll say first thing is, do you know what your purpose is, and do you have a vision? Because if you don't have a vision, you don't know where you're going. Your vision is your sight. Your vision is how you will see. If you don't have that vision, then you're not going to know where you're going. So you got to have the vision, because it's going to give you gets you to your destination. Your vision is used to make sure you stay on track where you're trying to go. So those would be the things I would say, just knowing what your purpose is, and having a vision. So those are definitely key things right there.
Okay. So on your journey, whether it be in ministry or motherhood or your marriage or even your business, what is something that has changed your life in a positive way?
The things that have changed my life in a positive way is, of course, building my relationship with Christ. And the next thing I would say would change my life would definitely be my children. and I would say my first, because having my first son, I grew up. And I think if it would not have been for that, a lot of people look at it as a bad thing, but for me it was good, because who knows what I would have been doing if it wasn't for that. So he helped me to grow up, and to get that determination, and to know that, hey, I had to do it. So he pretty much helped me to push. Of course, like I said, my relationship with Christ and just learning about the kingdom. My husband teaching me about the kingdom, and those things changed my life definitely in a positive way.
Gotcha. That is a blessing. That is definitely a blessing. So how would you help women? Okay, hold on. How would you help to give women hope in today's times? Because even if you think about how things were 5 or 10 years ago, they're just not the same.
Yes, definitely, they're not. Definitely, I would say on giving women hope in today's time is definitely knowing who you are, being confident, loving yourself for sure. The main thing that I always stress is know who you are, because when you know who you are, then the world can't tell you anything different. And that's a lot of problems with a lot of people, not just women, is an identity crisis, lack knowing who you are, and a lot of people are searching for themselves. So that's definitely is what I would say to women, to give them hope. And once you know who you are, you discover your purpose, and you build that relationship with God, and love yourself, and be confident. Take time for yourself. Those are some very important things, because before you know it, you can take care of other people so much until you begin to lose sight of yourself. And when you know who you are, and you have things written down, and you have dreams, goals, and vision, if you look back and you see you're on that, having those things written down, that vision will help you to get back on course and say, wait, I've lost myself. I've went left somewhere. That would be my thing of giving them hope. Always love you, and always demand respect. Don't ask for it, you demand it. And anybody that's not, giving you that respect, then that's not somebody that you need to have around you, because having respect is important. And you demand that. You demand that respect, and like I said, just know who you are and stick to it.
I know another thing that I think is important, too, is even as we find ourselves and know who we are, that in reaching our vision and reaching our goals, we evolve and we change, and we may become a different person, a new person, a better person. So it's important that you allow yourself to grow, right? And not to stay stagnant and stuck in a certain spot, stuck in a certain belief, stuck in a certain mindset. All of those things are very important when you're talking about yourself and knowing yourself. But you have to allow yourself that space to bloom and grow, right?
Yeah, definitely. But once you find out, and I totally agree with that, you definitely got to give yourself that room. And that room to me is basically, before I was saved, but I wasn't saved. So when I completely became saved for real, and I found out what my purpose is, that was me growing. And then from there, all I'm doing now is getting better.
That's right.
So
that's right.
That's it. Leave yourself, like you said. Don't be stuck on my mom and them did this, my dad and them, we did that.
Right.
And, it's what's in you. It's not what's in them, it's what's in you. So I'm with you. Let go of the old stuff, and because old ways may not work nowadays. We see that, because some old remedies used to work. Said that now you try and you like, okay, nothing's happening. So give yourself room, to grow and to develop in, who you're created to be.
Okay. So now I know of Mary by being in her Facebook group. She has a phenomenal Facebook group called Thriftpreneurs. So tell us about the group Thriftpreneurs, Mary. What made you start it? What is it about? Who is it for? All that good stuff.
Well, Thriftpreneurs started out being a place because I do a lot of reselling. I've kind of slowed down on it now. And it started out being that because that's my name on Poshmark, Thriftpreneurs. So I said, I'm going to start me a Thriftpreneurs page because sometimes you put stuff up on Facebook and it'll get seen and it doesn't. And from my understanding, it's because they want you to have a certain page, a sponsorship, or whatever. So I started Thriftpreneurs that way, but as I slowed down, and I switched it a little bit because I find myself, regardless of what it is, I'm always encouraging. That's just me. You know, I love to encourage people. So I end up deciding to just keep it at Thriftpreneurs, but change it to Thriftpreneurs Inspiring Entrepreneurs. So it's basically a place where you just come and you get encouragement. You're able to share your things you have for sale on certain days. And it's, like I said, it's just a place for just encouragement, for us to encourage each other.
And you know what? And the group is full of encouragement. I love what you do in the group when you do like the shout outs, and you're very complimentary. You support people that are in the group. I see it, and you're very consistent with it. And I know I appreciate it. I'm sure other people in the group appreciate it as well.
I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. So tell what's coming up for you next. Like, what are you doing next? I feel like it should be a book or something coming out. I know you make the books, your planners, and what's the right terminology? The books that you make.
You may be talking about the magazine that I'm working on. It's a definitely a process. That one is Purpose Life, but I'm sitting back. I'm just hearing more from God on that, on what it is that He wants to do. It's pretty much going to be a group where, a magazine where different entrepreneurs post things, but it definitely is going to have some encouragement in there and just different things for entrepreneurs, life skills, whatever God sees fit for me to put in there. So that may be, I think, what you're talking about, perhaps, the magazine.
Yes, you're right. I've seen that, and I'm going to be a part of that. Yes, ma'am. We need to keep that going. I think it's important to have inspirational talk out because there's so much junk going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? We need some Jesus, some word. We need some inspiration, some motivation, some mindset changing. We need all of that. So, yes, I would definitely be a part of that. And the platform that we are on, Elation Radio, also has a magazine, Elation Magazine, and maybe it's something that you would be interested in getting into with her magazine as well. If because collaboration could be an excellent thing. You know what I'm saying? My show producer, Kimmy Kim, she does a lot. She's absolutely marvelous. She is definitely a woman of Christ. So that would be awesome.
Definitely, for sure.
Yes. So I thank you very much for bringing on Let's Talk About It with Rhonda. Tell everyone how to reach you, get in contact with you, give us your website, whatever information you want them to have.
Okay, I can definitely be reached at Mary, which is Merry, not Not, Mary, which is Mary, @gmail.com. Everybody laugh when I say that because people spell my name wrong. I haven't been the emails, but that's often. And I'm revamping my website because God is just, He gave me so many different ideas and different businesses. And I'm like, God, why you keep giving me these different things? And He's showing me more of why He's doing it. So I just use that email. And my telephone, I don't mind giving that, my number out. It's area code 205-920-9883. So that's my telephone number, or you can just reach me on Facebook at Mary Jane King as well. So
Thank you, ma'am. It has been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to working with you and your husband, your ministry in the future.
Okay, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a blessed night.
You too. Blessings to you also.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to Let's Talk About It with Rhonda on Elation Radio. As a reminder, if you're in North Texas, the North Texas Education Entrepreneurs Training Center is available to you. Go to nteetc.com. That is nteetc.com for more information. Thank you for tuning in. This is Rhonda McAllister, your host. So Let's Talk About It with Rhonda, and I will see you at.
Has anyone ever told you that you were a boy? Have they told you how valuable you really are? He gave you the moon, the stars, the sun. He gave you everything. He gave you the pearls, the fur, the diamond necklace, and the ring. He told you that you were his queen and that you two would never part. How many other women has he said that to? And then he broke your heart. Girl, I can't let you stay in this place. But that was so long ago. Can I tell you you're blessed? You have to remind yourself. Come on, say it with me. I'm more than a conqueror. You're more than a conqueror. Girl, you are so beautiful. 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 Girl, you are so beautiful. 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 Girl, you are so. You have to remind yourself. Come on, say it with me. I'm more than a conqueror. You're more than a conqueror. Girl, you are so beautiful. 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 Girl, you are so beautiful. 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 Girl, you are so beautiful. 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 Girl, you are so beautiful. 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 Girl, you don't let your light shine. Can I tell you that you are vibrant, creative, you're blessed, extraordinary in all your ways. Much more. Let your light shine. Your words. Girl, you're so beautiful. Beautiful.